Initially, my research topic was public library and school collaboration, as the public library did not have an active role in the school community where I worked. I also was concerned about the public library and the homeless, as I am aware of several homeless men and women who are in the lobby of my public library. I ended up researching many outreach programs and services across the country and made some amazing discoveries. I like the image of outreach as going beyond a box of books. Nancy Pearl reminds librarians that they must recognize the importance of keeping a balance in library service. Pearl says we must not forget that libraries are a three-legged stool: information, outreach, and programming. Outreach is visible in public, academic, government, medical, and special libraries. Reading an interview with Nancy Pearl, she tells us that libraries are the last democratic institution, democratic with a small d. It wasn't always that way. Librarians were gatekeepers. Most important, looking at the definition of outreach, was ALA's definition, and it talks about outreach often described as services for those who are infrequent users or non-users, for those who are traditionally underserved. Outreach librarians strive to provide equitable delivery of library services to all people through the development of programs, policies, practices, and behaviors which make the library available to all people. It's a critical component of a library's mission statement. And looking at the definition, I think about visibility, being active, meeting people. Outreach improves the quality of life, and it bridges the gap. Richard Lyda is a mover and shaker from Colorado who drives a bookmobile, and he catches kids coming off the school bus to read stories to them. He says it's better than coming home, having the students go home and watch TV. Lyda said in his interview about outreach that we're bringing services to people who either would not or could not access them or otherwise. Outreach truly changes lives for educational communities, school librarians, the homeless, poor, the elderly, the LGBTQ population, prisons, hospitals. Outreach provides books to your door. They provide books by mail, teacher collection delivery service. There's programs for children with special needs, and collections designed to meet the special needs of your patrons. Outreach is dynamic, and it is powerful. Sharing space was one thing I didn't think about as being part of outreach, but Ted Johnson manages public services and outreach at the Prescott Valley Public Library, which is pictured at the right. And he says that since opening day, we have grown steadily in how we share the facility. Economic factors, as well as consistent outreach efforts, have combined to exert pressure on available space. That is the price of success. It was impressive reading about how their library shares space. They share space with the local garden club. There's the smallest rooms used for genealogy, Head Start, Historical Society, Books Behind Bars, Knitting Group, ARP, the Center for the Arts. They even have a flute circle group which plays Native American music. And just two quick notes about Ted Johnson. He wrote about the teen patio space, the teen space, and originally it was outside, but then they had to enclose it. It's recently been painted by teens with the help of staff. And the other thing that kind of caught me was the cable channel. It's able to display promotional material for upcoming events. So an interesting space. Outreach for educational communities, and it's about public libraries going out and meeting the rest of the preschoolers where they are in the school. It's about building strong relationships with the children, the teachers, and administrators. It's an opportunity to market, to send letters, send flyers home to non-users. Summer reading programs enhance children's learning and literary development. Increase time spent with books. Summer reading programs play a role in reading achievement for underserved children. It enhances their reading experiences and allows parental involvement in their child's reading. Outreach to school libraries is amazing. Number one, collaboration is going to elevate the school libraries. Number two, it's getting children to thrive in school. And three, as Lisa Pete said, the associate editor of Library Journal, you spend less time explaining the services and more time providing them. We're seeing, or I was reading about student IDs being used as public library cards from Mecklenburg County to Indianapolis, Indiana, to Nashville, Tennessee, San Jose, California, to Tacoma, Washington. Indianapolis Public Library shares their resources with 47 public, private, parochial, and 2 museums. Tacoma, Washington Public Schools, they use their student ID as a working library card and it allows students to log into computers, access databases from their home, check out print books, and download ebooks. And pictured is Mayor Carl Dean, who's instrumental in merging Nashville Public Library System with the Metro Nashville Schools. It's called Limitless Libraries. Outreach with the homeless. Will Manley, back in 1998, wrote in an essay in American Libraries that the homeless can be the bane of our existence. But despite the inconvenience that they create, we librarians are consistently in the forefront of championing their needs and securing their rights. We have an opportunity to put the ALA core values into practice. The core values are access, democracy, service, and social responsibility. Library communities must be moved to serve the poor and homeless. There are many ways they can do that. They can offer information on a world of topics from life skills to private concerns. Libraries can connect the homeless to essential resources like basic needs, food and shelter, and opportunities for spiritual and mental growth. Libraries can make connections to community resources for the homeless. Libraries can connect to social services. They can have social workers on the premises at times. And librarians must think about leaving their biases and prejudices and preconceptions that they have any behind and look at these patrons in the eye and connect. Librarians can also seek out professional development and coursework to gain a better understanding of the issues. Outreach to the elderly. The statistics are staggering. By the year 2030, 72.1 million people will be age 65 and older. So again, think about that. Library outreach programs and services will provide the elderly with a better quality of life, but it's changed. In the past, it was focused on delivery. Focus is now on new programs. For example, technology, training classes, community gaming sessions, pen pal programs, linking the elderly with students, elementary school students. And remember when? Adult story times with a different theme each month. So again, programming and facilities, delivery service for library materials, engagement, social interaction. We have to think about the elderly. The numbers are rising. Reach the bookmobile, Books on Wheels. Interesting tidbits on bookmobiles, but very impactful to reach the community. The John Philip Award is presented each year and recognizes outstanding contributions and prominent leadership in bookmobile and outreach services. I've provided a template for planning success. This is from the University of North Texas. It's called PEARL. It's promoting the advancement of rural libraries. It doesn't happen overnight. Outreach is a process and it may take years to get it right. So these templates may help you for guidance and considerations when creating a community outreach program. Here are some just tidbits of information. The movie screening at the library for the homeless serving popcorn and cocoa donated by a library trustee was interesting. Also, the fitness programs that are being offered at public libraries, 22.7% of the U.S. public libraries offer some sort of fitness class. That was a survey, 2013-2014. Challenges and barriers. Please review some of the challenges that consistently surfaced in the research I did. And some considerations in conclusion. I'm going back to Ted Johnson from the Prescott, Arizona Public Library. He refers to a book called Escape from Camp 14, One Man's Remarkable Odyssey from North Korea to Freedom in the West, where The author found that the single most important factor determining success in a survival situation was to face it with another person rather than trying to make it in a single-handed fashion. So librarians must restore their role as gatekeepers in their communities through collaboration and outreach. Libraries cannot work in a vacuum, but must create a support system. Libraries must be shared. Libraries must be listening to our communities, and people are our priority.